Pixar's brand new animated feature, Turning Red, premieres exclusively on Disney Plus Hotstar on March the 11th, and we got a chance to speak to some of the incredible minds that made this movie happen. In this interview, I speak to production designer Rona Liu. Check it out.
Let's go.
So before we get into it, talk to me a little bit about what a production design does in animation.
I would say we are the people, production designers. We work with the director to come up with a vision for the look of the film. And then after that, we work with the incredible and many people crew to make sure that the vision is cohesive and that throughout production that it goes from beginning to end exactly the way that the director has envisioned it.
It feels like every Pixar movie pushes the needle with regards to what you can do with animation. I'm constantly in awe with what you guys pull off with water and rain with every film that comes out. Were there any new techniques that you guys pioneered with Turning Red?
Yeah. So yesterday, I know Danielle Feinberg, she talked about profile mover, which was how they rig and animate characters, that instead of like going from spline to spline, now there's a simplified version of just almost like painting the movement a little bit. For me, one of the things that I'm totally in awe of is just on this film how we treated the special effects and how it truly was this blend of like finding a blend of 2D and 3D. Like when we say that we are inspired by like anime, I think what I'm really proud of is just we're not copying anything. Like we're not just doing 2D because we like 2D, but we're really going in and dissecting what we like about 2D. We like the poppiness, we like the color, we like the way that it
Right.
animates. And now let's take what Pixar does best, which is, how believable the effects can be, and let's find a perfect middle ground where it still looks rich and expensive and it's still people can relate to it, but let's, like you said, push the needle far enough so that we're still challenging ourselves with each project.
Yeah. The thing that always blows my mind is how long these things take,
Yeah.
right? And you're working on this for 3 and 5 years, and I've always been curious about the stamina that's required because you're looking at the same thing for such a long period of time. And how do you keep up? How do you not get fed up? How do you not
Yeah.
just go, all right, you know what? I've stared at it enough. Let's move on. Or does that
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is where Lindsay comes in. So what Lindsay's really good at is reminding everybody, hey, at a certain point, you're just doing this. You're no longer moving forward, you're doing this. So I'm going to give you a timeline, and at a certain point make a decision, we have to move on. And I feel like she's a great producer for that reason, because she knows at which point an idea is great enough and we no longer need to spin. And so I feel like she loves to move fast. I have to give credit to Domee because she's the most decisive director I have ever met and have ever worked with. And she knows what she wants, and she knows that when we've hit it, and she will say that's it and no more. So they're both great. And I feel like from kind of like an artist level, for us it's all about staying authentic. Like, yes, we're seeing this sometimes in the main character, we're looking at it for like months, a year. Sometimes we're making changes even after 2 years. But I think it will never get old if we're saying like, hey, this, like for Malin Lee, we're looking towards ourselves. So we always know the answer, and there's always the North Star that we're looking to. So
Right.
yeah, I think authenticity really helps.
I've got to ask this question only because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Domi is only the second woman to take on and helm a Pixar movie, and of course, you guys have been working at Pixar for so long. So, what was that like was it a different experience, or is there just I guess, a culture that's entrenched in Pixar that it's part of the system, it's part of the process?
Yeah, I do feel like a huge change, and like in the past few years within Pixar, of just recognizing and embracing different voices. And I feel like Domee's in the forefront of all of that. For example, I feel like my relationship with Lindsay, um, I just feel like this support comes so naturally with her. Like, for example, I had a baby towards the end of production. There was no me having to explain. There was this like unspoken thing. Like
Right.
Lindsay, Danielle, even our associate producer Sabina, they just knew like the time that I would need, the support that I would need, because everybody's been there before. Yeah, the encouragement, the confident boost, like all of that stuff just came so naturally. Like, yeah, there was no, yeah,
No, and you're
we were on
absolutely
a
right,
different
because
level.
it's something as simple as that I guess a guy might not take notice of, that makes all the difference in the world in
Yeah,
how well you work, right?
yeah.
Um, I was just gonna say they gave us a bit of the movie to watch, obviously,
Mhm.
and I have to say, and I don't know if I don't know if I'm coming at this in the right point of view, but you mentioned anime, and it felt like Turning Red was it might be the most Miyazaki-esque Pixar movie I've seen.
Mhm.
Am I right? Are there points of inspiration from there?
We definitely, I would say we are, like Domee and I, like we are a generation that grew up on Miyazaki film. So I feel like it's really hard to get that out of our
Disassociate,
system.
yeah.
Yeah, like I know like yesterday we were saying a lot like of Sailor Moon and things like that, but now that you mention it, it's like our aesthetic was defined, like that era was defined by like cute Japanese animation, Miyazaki, Sanrio, like proportions, colors, that aesthetic, like even if we're not looking towards it, it's kind of ingrained in us. So yeah.
But also in the characterizations, and I think that's where I picked it up the most. In that
Mhm.
Miyazaki does this wonderful thing, where yes, it's cute and it's got a certain aesthetic, but I think it's in the movement of the eyes and the facial
Mm,
expressions that he does, and
yeah.
uh, I thought you guys channeled that beautifully. Like there was so much that was said and done without words. Well, tell me this: were there any other, I guess, besides anime? Were there any other points of inspiration for Turning Red,
Yeah.
whether animation or otherwise?
Yeah. Okay, boy bands. It's like the first thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy bands. That era of like I was secretly a boy band like mega fan, and but nobody knew about it. And I feel like now it all comes out, that got that kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it. The love, the excitement, the
Oh yeah, the
sweating,
posters in the wall. Yeah,
yeah, all of
absolutely.
that, the fandom. I feel like we were trying to capture that was the vibe. Like we also really loved how like Wes Anderson has these beautiful like poppy color palettes too, that was very, for us, that's what anime like Sailor Moon does too. And so we were taking inspiration from like a lot of other filmmakers too, to kind of build out the world.
Rhoda, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on Turning Red. They didn't give us enough of the movie, so I can't wait to watch all of it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, Disney Plus, woohoo.
yay! Thank you so much.
Thank you, bye, Uma.
Bye.
I'm calm. Zen. Yes! No!
That was Turning Red production designer Rona Liu. The movie premieres exclusively on Disney Plus Hotstar on March 11th. Don't forget to check out our other YouTube interviews. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. You know what to do.